thank you guys for offering to help. I really appreciate it. For those of you who don't know, I think I met everybody here except Monique. I don't quite know if we met. So I'm Steve Lucien, the founder of Support Creativity. In this call, we also have Jose Miranda and Jeffrey Martinez. They're on the board of directors for Support Creativity. Israel has helped in the past for sure, and Nacho is definitely someone who's helped in the past for some fundraising efforts. Just real quick, Monique, if you could just brief, like, how'd you get to know Support Creativity, and just a brief background. Just curious, like who you are.
Yikes, I wasn't prepared for that. Sorry, it's after 5 o'clock, so I'm having adult beverages. But I'm Monique Atherley. I go by she or they. I actually was introduced by Alejandro Gonzalez, who's one of my former colleagues from Studio Westbury. So he's been in the work with you all for a while. And I've actually tried to review scholarship applications before, but every time you all did it in person, I wasn't available to do it. So.
Got it. Okay, cool. Awesome. Great. So this year every year we try to make it a little bit smoother, easier, better. We made significant progress thanks to Jeffany for putting together the submissions in terms of like how we receive the applications and how we're going to pass it on to you all. How many applications did we get in total, and then how many are actually eligible? Jeffany.
So it was somewhere around 525, if I'm remembering correctly, total submissions. 320 of them were eligible. The remainder were actually students who will be attending school out of the tri-state area, so therefore that made them ineligible. But it is a total of 320 that are eligible. And you guys will be responsible for reviewing approximately half of those.
Right. So then the idea here is to also get through them. And I think if we need some more help, maybe we'll do a reach out and see if we could get some more help from others. I mean, especially from Emmanuel and Maritete, to see if that can happen. And then the idea is that we always have an award show in August. Maybe we're going to aim for late July, early August this year. But instead of doing it in person, due to COVID, it's going to be a virtual show. We did a preview, or not a preview, like a pilot way of doing it over Zoom. And then we're just going to continue figuring out how to make it an impactful virtual show for our students. So again, just thank you for joining us and wanting to help. So I'm actually going to pass it back to Jeffany. Definitely to put us on this new process of how we're just going to go about it. I do have the rubric here available to take a look at that too. So, but I'm gonna pass it on to you, Jeffany. Talk to us.
Hey guys. So again, my name is Jeffany. I am on the board of directors. I am kind of the behind the scenes operations person. Sorry, don't mind the background noise. So what we did was we took all the applications, and normally each year you guys would come into the office, we'd all sit down with our laptops, and everyone would have access to the digital submissions, and we would read over the applications, and then they are graded based on 3 criteria. We kind of tweaked the application this year because normally we have them submit a piece of artwork as well as an essay. And in the essay is where they were required to answer the questions that we ask of them. Instead, the way we did it this year was we broke down the 3 questions where they had to answer it directly. So it makes it a little easier for you to be able to pull out and see, according to the rubric, how detailed their answer was and exactly what grade it is that they deserve. So it would be based on passion. It will be based on their skill set, and as far as how good the project itself is, and then it's going to be based on financial need. So Steve, if you could put up the PDF document just so they can get a breakdown of it, and I can explain what everything is.
Yes, I got you right now.
And I am not registered as a co-host, I don't believe, so I can't see if anybody's like asking any questions or anything, but feel free to like just jump in and talk if you have a question or you want to ask something. Or
Make you a co-host. um, let me
only
see.
because if they do ask a question in the chat, it's not, I don't know if it's going to pop up on my end unless someone has a question. So
Can you guys see my screen?
yes.
You see it says Laura, right? All right, go for it, Justin.
Okay, so we converted what was kind of like an Excel spreadsheet. I converted it into a PDF. So each page is going to be one particular submission. The way I outlined it is it has the student's first name bigger, just so you really, because that's what you need to know. It has their last name. In the center, it says what their major is, so you have an idea on what it is they'll be studying. And then off to the right at the top, I put in a rubric for you, or a grading section. So you have the 3 criteria there, and then they are scored on a scale of 1 to 5. What we're going to try to do is make the PDF so that you guys can go in and edit it and then just mark it off. Put an X, a emoji, a heart, whatever you want to put to mark off what the grade should be based on that. You can also feel free to like add any comments or type in any notes or anything like that, anywhere in where you find extra space, just for us to be able to review it later. But then as you go down through the page, you'll see the images of the artwork that they submitted. You will see the about project, which was the first question we asked them to explain the project. So that is where you're going to see the information as far as like how good they are for the grading on the project itself. So you're going to look at the images of the piece as well as their description of their project, and you're going to use that in order to grade based on the project portion. The why do you create will more than likely be the portion of where you get the passion from. They're going to tell you something along the lines of who their role models were, or who they use as inspiration, or why they do what they do, what drove them to start creating, and what it does for them. So based on that is where you would determine the passion portion. And then the final question that we ask is financial need. And in that, they're expected to answer as to, or the actual question that we asked them was, how will this scholarship benefit you? So some people are going to tell you their life story as to growing up under hard times, or especially with COVID and everything that's going on, people who lost their jobs and now they're questioning whether or not they'll be able to attend school, things along those lines. Based on how badly you feel that you're going to need the help is where you would score them on that scale. As I said, each individual page is a different submission. So it's very cut and dry. You can pull up page 1, it's one person. Page 7 is going to be a different person. Page 22 is going to be a different person. All of their criteria is there in one place, so it makes it a lot easier for you. As you pull up the PDF, you should be able to zoom into the image in order to be able to see the details to whatever the work is, or whatever their submission piece was. And then again, like I mentioned, you can put the comments anywhere where you see fit if there's any empty space. As with Isabel there on the screen, you have plenty of empty space in order to put in the thing there. You'll also have the option of, there you go. You'll also have the option of marking off in that rubric in the top right-hand corner what their grade is. You want to go into the rubric itself just to give them a brief outline, or?
Yeah. So this is the scoring rubric over here. It has pretty much stayed the same since 2013. Again, we grade them on 3 different things: their essay, the actual project, and the financial need. Instead of essay, it's really just their why do they create, right? So it's
Their
their
passion.
passion,
Mm-hmm.
their passion. That's what we're really like looking for. So it's a scale from 1 to 5, 1 being not so great, 5 being, you know, right on point. So it goes from number 1 for their, you know, why do they create part. It's, you know, they don't explain the project. I'm sorry, they don't explain the project nor show interest in creative field. Number 2 is only explains the project. Number 3 is explains the project and shows their interest in their creative field. 4 explains project and shows passion for their creative field. That's what we're
So we
looking
might have to tweak that though, because the explaining of the project isn't going to be in the essay part. It's going to be in the project part.
Got it. Okay. So we'll adjust this.
So yeah, we'll move that.
Yeah. So but the idea here is that it's going from 1 to 5, right? And then the very compelling story and clearly shows passion for their creative field. So then for their project, I mean their let me see, what was it over here? The project is their actual piece. You know, how much fluency do they have in that piece? Do they show like they just threw it together, or did they put in a lot of work into it, which is more like the 4 and 5? You know, they have a solid artistic skills in the medium and is a creative piece of work, or they show fluency in their medium and is very impressive creative piece of work. This part is very tough, challenging, subjective. What I may think is very fluent, somebody else may not. But this is where we invite you to kind of just take a step back and try and really take it in as a whole and see if what their intentions were, and understanding, looking at their project and then understanding their words. You know what how everything connects. That's what we want you to judge. And the financial need, it's like, they need to express it because this is a financial need based scholarship. So if they mention, like what Jeffrey mentioned before, hardships, you know, huge roadblocks like being undocumented, deaths in the family, whatever the case may be, you're going to hear a lot of different stories, right? And the ones that hit you are the ones that I would say are more on the 4 and 5, in need of any financial aid or truly in need of financial aid due to hardships. So it's a combination of these 3 criteria, which again, you would just put up here by doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the project, their passion, or their need. And we will email you the updated rubric, just changing the words up a little bit so that it can match exactly about how we have it with this new system. And how many are each getting, Jeff?
Well, if all 6 had checked in, then we were looking at, I think it was 32 per person or something along those lines. If we don't end up sending it out to all 6, then it may be more like 40 or 50 per person.
Well, I think
the timeline, I was going to say, the timeline we're giving you guys, because it's being done virtually, it's at your leisure. If you're sitting in bed at night and you're bored, or you're on the train and you want to look over them or anything along those lines, we're trying to get it done within the next week. So just so you understand, from this week Tuesday's meeting now, by next week Tuesday, we want to do another check-in session, we can call it, just so you guys can give us the feedback we need and find out like how difficult was it, or if there's anything you need from us. Now, in between there, Macho and Steve are setting up check-in hours, correct? Over the weekend. So if you start looking over the stuff over the next couple of days and you have any questions, you can email scholarships@wesupportcreativity.com, or I'm sorry, .org.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I have direct access to that email and I answer it several times a day. So if you have any questions, you can shoot an email there and I can respond to you. Or if it's a question that can hold off until the check-in, then you guys can always come back for a Zoom meeting. Steve is going to will send out a link with the email. And it'll have all the information you need as to when and times and things of that sort. That way you can check in with them if you have any questions or you want to go over something with them or anything along those lines.
Cool. So in terms of the what do you call them, like office hours that we have this weekend, I know this Saturday I'm going to be available. I'm making myself available 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. For any questions, anything. If you want to hop on and be like, hey, what does this mean? What is that? How do we judge this? I'll probably be doing applications during that time as well, as well as trying to bang them out throughout the week. That's this Saturday, 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And then Jose, what time did you say you were going to be available?
Doing Sunday from 12 to 2. And I guess we still have to figure out the logistics if I should use my Zoom link or yours, and we'll send that out.
Yeah, I think what we'll do is send out links to each day, and then you could just hop in if you want. We'll just have it in open Zooms pretty much for anybody who wants to join. Not required at all. If you feel like you want to do it on your own and you're good, awesome. If like Jeopardy said, if you have a question tomorrow and want to just shoot an email out, that's awesome. That's fine as well. So we'll make some time to be like more not in person, but over Zoom on the weekend.
So the only other thing too that I want to mention to you guys is you will be receiving the entire PDF document. It has all of the applications, all 170 of them that you guys will be reviewing. When I'm going to shoot each of you an individual email explaining which pages you are responsible for. So for example, Monique, if I send you the first email, you'll be responsible for pages 1 through 50. And then if Sade hops on for the second, then 51 through 100 along those lines. But I will put all of those details in the email for you so you know what you're looking at. In the PDF, you should be able to skip right ahead to page 50 if necessary in order to start with that one. And then you can go in and edit it. And then when you guys are done, I'm going to ask you to email me the edited document back. And then I will take all your grading records and input it into the table itself.
Questions, comments, concerns?
Oh, never mind.
No? Nati?
So wait, I just wanted to make sure that I'm like following along correctly. Since everyone gets the same PDF, like we're putting the grades onto the PDF file itself.
Correct.
And send it back, or is it like live, like updatable, like a Google Doc? Like I didn't catch that
So,
too.
as of right now, it is not like a Google Doc. It's not live where you'll see each other's comments or edits or anything like that. You will each get one, and then you can save it to your system and then edit it, and then I'll just go in and pull out the information from each individual document. That way no one goes in and changes somebody's stuff by accident or anything along those lines.
Perfect.
Yeah. Although a Google Doc does sound interesting, but maybe that'll be the next level that we do.
Yeah, I was just more concerned, like if more than one person is working on it at a time or something like that, and then there's some sort of conflict or, you know.
Yeah, no, I hear that. Yeah, I'm excited for this new system. I'm a geek when it comes to just computer systems and seeing how this works and logistically, because it's worked with the Airtable in the past, but we've had conflicts. So this might be simple. And if there are hiccups, I like you all to be like, oh, this could have been better, this could have been better. And that way we continue improving every time this time around the year comes. Great. So then we'll send you an email with everything when? Tomorrow, definitely? Tomorrow morning? Tonight? Oh, I think you froze.
Yes. No, we'll send it out in the morning.
Okay.
Just in case Emmanuel reaches out or
okay.
Maritere reaches out. That way we know how many to split it, because I don't want to give them and then they decide they do want to pitch in and there's nothing left for them to do. Plus, I don't want to overwhelm you guys. So I think our original thing was approximately 30 applications. So I'm going to say we'll start with that. And then if anybody else reaches out that they want to help, we can just tack them on at the end. But we'll probably start with the 30 and give you guys the week to get through those 30.
Yeah.
Does that sound doable, or does anybody think that's going to be too much?
Yeah, I was going to say last year, I think it would have been a lot. But because we did, question 1, 2, and 3, it's much more direct and it's one page. So I think it's
yeah, because the way it's laid out, it should be relatively simple. Also, in the past when we've done it, we've like crammed it and try to get the 20 or 30 done in a matter of 2 or 3 hours sitting in the office. Whereas here you can do it at your leisure. So
true.
You can do an hour today, and if you're chilling at home tomorrow, do another 3 hours, or along those lines. Or you can bang it all out in one day and then just send it back. Whatever you see fit.
However you see fit. But then we'll check in again next Tuesday and see where we're at, and then we'll plan accordingly from there. And then hopefully, we're still in late June. The idea is to have the event, the awards ceremony virtual, however it's going to be. end of July or early August, and we'll keep you guys posted on that as well. Cool. If there's no other questions, comments, or concerns, I think that's it. Once twice a day, any questions? You're good? Okay.
I want to see her. No.
Today, your presence is requested. She's crocheting a baby blanket. All right. So cool. All right, guys. So we'll email you very soon.
Yep, tomorrow morning.
All right, guys. Have a
Just
good
keep an
night.
eye out for it, okay? Thank you again.
Thanks,
Yes.
everybody.
Awesome. Thank you. I'll take care.
Appreciate your help.
Be
You
safe.
care.
guys are awesome. Peace.
Have a good day. See y'all.
Bye, Israel.